U of I, incredible talent. It's one of the best technology universities in the world. There's a pipeline to Silicon Valley from Champaign and to Seattle.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to talk about our home. Bruce Rauner, newly elected governor. Still, I'm getting used to that concept. It's all new to me. And thank you for the time. This is a little bit of deja vu all over again for me. For years, I was a professor of venture capital at Kellogg in the 80s. And I loved meeting with business school students. And I actually did a lot of guest lecturing here at Booth. It wasn't called Booth then. And at other business schools, too. I think it's a fascinating subject. Thanks for taking the time to talk about this. This is arguably the biggest turnaround in America today, and certainly it's the biggest turnaround I've ever been associated with. Venture capital is my passion and my profession and my avocation, but you know what? This is a subject more dear, more meaningful to me, more emotional for me, because this is about home. I was born and raised here. Actually, I haven't come very far in life. I was born 2 blocks from here at Paso Memorial Hospital, which was used to be right up the road. And my mom was actually an obstetrics nurse there. And we lived near Wrigley Field when I was little. And then we moved out for public schools. We moved up to Deerfield, which is up in Lake County. My grandparents were dairy farmers up in Whitewater, Wisconsin. But I love Illinois. We've raised our 6 children here, built businesses here. I love it here. And I want this to be a great home for everybody. And we're in massive deterioration mode, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. And many of my friends and many people that I know and who I've met during the campaign are leaving the state. And the number one surprise of the campaign is how many business owners are either actively leaving or thinking about leaving the state. That was the number one surprise of the campaign for me, because I've been traveling the state 150,000 miles, meeting with everybody, but I met with a lot of small business owners, and it's amazing their frustration level. I knew it was bad, but it was worse than I thought when I started the process. And to me, it's an honor to go to work for you and for everybody here and see if we can't make this the greatest state again. We used to be awesome. You know, did you know we've had 4 out of our last 8 governors go to prison? Did you guys know that? Isn't that amazing? I mean, good grief. And the conflicts of interest and the self-dealing and the culture of what's in it for me. What's in it for me? I'll give you yours, you give me mine. What's in it for me? That mindset is pervasive in government. It's just appalling, and we've got to change that. So the number one thing I'm doing right now is recruiting. I'm in heavy recruiting mode. We're trying to assemble the most talented team of leaders that's ever been assembled to turn a state government around. This is all about, you guys know, it's all about people. It's all about talent. So we're trying to assemble talented people, and I'm very, very honored and very excited. We've got super talent coming from the business community here in Illinois, and frankly from around the United States. But we've also had a number of really talented government leaders here in Illinois, but also from around the United States who've contacted us, or some of whom we've contacted, who've said, wow, Illinois is so important, the challenges are so big, we'll leave where we are and we'll come to Springfield, Bruce, with you and get things turned around. And so we've got a former governor who she was a superstar governor for 8 years and did a major turnaround. She's ready to come and do similar things here. We've got a former COO of another state who did a big turnaround. He's coming here. And one of the policy advisors and general counsels from next door in Indiana has come from Indianapolis here to Illinois. A lot of folks see this as a critical priority because we're one of the biggest states and we're far and away the worst run state from an economic, financial, and conflict of interest basis. And people say, you know what, people who are true public servants and who really love democracy and want to see government work really are pretty excited about it. And because I've never been in government, this is the first time I've ever run for office, I want people from the private sector like me, but I also need really, really talented people in government because I want to minimize the number of rookie mistakes I make. You know, this is going to be a learning curve for me. And And we're done that, so it's all about the team and the people. So number one priority is the team building. Number two priority is to get in and look under the covers and understand what's really going on. So we're going deep dive. We've got a lot of pro bono, some free consulting firms coming and helping, and people coming, and we've done a deep dive in each department, looking for the spending and the contracts and the structure and the reporting, and really going deep on the issues. And I have to say, everywhere we look, it's you want to put the covers back down and go, okay, what's going on there? It's bad. The level of management quality, the thoughtfulness, the structure, it's bad. The government is being run more for the benefit of the people in the government rather than for the benefit of the service recipients and the taxpayers. That's pretty clear. And it's too bad because there are a lot of good people in government. I've met many of them. In fact, I've had lunch with some of them as I just went to the Thompson Center for the first time this week. I've never been in that building before, and was in Springfield last week. There's a lot of good people, but you can tell they want leadership. And many of them, or most of them, are there for the right reasons, and they have good talents, but they are not being optimized, they're not being used productively. And I want to try to change that culture. So productivity and efficiency and ideas to save and get better are rewarded. And so we have a culture of real performance. It would be a big culture shock. It would take big change, but I think folks are ready for that. They're pretty excited about it. So today you guys are the first people in the state to see, this is a little preview of the State of the State speech that I'm going to give in 2 weeks. Under our current law, the governor gives a State of the State speech, and this year it's scheduled for February 4th, I believe. And then, under the law, the governor is due to give his budget address not too long after that, and this year it's scheduled for February 18th. So these are very big, and these will set the overall discussion and the goals for what we want to accomplish. And there's going to be a lot of give and take after this. It's going to be months and months of working, negotiating, structuring, coming up with legislation to get things turned around. So what we're doing now, starting today, and every day or every other day for the next 2 weeks, is laying the groundwork for the State of the State speech, where I'm going to propose a number of reforms to get the turnaround implemented. And today I'm going to outline some of the problems. These slides are just very first blush, and every couple days I'm going to be adding the number of slides and going to speak to other groups around the state and Springfield and Rockford, other communities, and talking about the issues. Because it's important that the voters and the citizens, the families, taxpayers, service recipients, families in need understand what's going on and why we're going to propose the changes that we're going to propose. So hopefully I'll get this right. So my personal goal and our team's goal is to make Illinois outstanding again. And 2 goals. We want to be very competitive, and we want to be very compassionate. And competitive, I mean best schools in America, strongest economy in America, fastest rising family incomes in America, the best career opportunities in America. And we take care of our neediest citizens and our families as well as any government takes care of. Families in need. The folks who deserve and need our support. I believe you can judge a society, judge a community by how well it takes care of its most vulnerable. We need to do that well. And we also need to have families prospering, great careers and rising net incomes for families and individuals, so they can have the highest quality life and the American dream can come alive. So this is the goal. It's a big goal. It's very doable. We have every reason to thrive. Best hardworking people in America, best location, and I think, of any state in America, most fertile farms in America, capital of the heart of the Midwest in Chicago, incredible cultural institutions, incredible rich history. We have every reason to thrive, and as you'll see in a minute, we are not thriving. And it's the policies and the politics mostly coming out of Springfield. Really, it's at the core of the problem. You'll see in a minute, Illinois is on an unsustainable path, fundamentally unsustainable path, and everybody wants to talk about, the politicians want to talk about, well, let's raise the income tax to fix the debt or the problem. Raising taxes, that issue alone, will come nowhere near fixing the problem, and in fact will make parts of the problem worse and just kick the can down the road. This is the critical lesson that we're seeing. We are on an unsustainable path. We need fundamental structural change, and raising taxes alone in itself isn't going to fix the problem. In a lot of ways, it's going to make it worse. So I'm going to compare I'm a big comparative data guy, and I'm going to give you guys by what you're used to, a lot less data than you're used to, but this is like way more data than politics involves. I mean, politics, you know what? I'll be criticized for being a data wonk. This is not what politics don't, data, whatever. It's emotion. Politics is emotion. Well, I'm an emotional guy, and this is home. And I'm very emotional about this, but we're going to talk about some numbers because numbers matter. We're going to compare ourselves to the 5 states that touch Illinois, but we've got in our agenda, we're comparing everything we do to 8 states, including these. I also want to compare to Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee. See what they do, how they do it, how do we compare, what are our metrics. But I also want to look at states that are really blowing the doors off and kicking tails, Arizona, Texas, Florida, others. But we've got a core group of 5 that touch us, another 3 that are in our region, and then some other states to compare to. We lost more population last year than any state in America, and for years we have been a net out-migration. For people who can choose what state to live in, people net have been leaving Illinois for quite a while. They're going to other states. And this is just compared to the 5 states that touch us. You can see the numbers. And we'll talk more about this, but people who can choose are leaving, on balance. Here's domestic migration in among states for Illinois, going back, what is that, 11, 12 years, whatever. This you can see. It ain't a pretty picture. Texas, as an example, complete flip. Everybody's moving to Texas. A lot of people moving to other states. They ain't moving here. And when you just look at that in the context of everything else, every other problem we got going on, it's a big, big challenge. Here's real median, meaning your average family income, real, adjusted for inflation. It moves around, but the trend is down. Average family income's down over time in Illinois. Instead of having real family incomes rising, like it's doing in many other states, not all, but many, ours are in decline. And part of it is higher income folks are leaving the state. That's part of it. The other part of it is we don't have a strong economy creating great career options and businesses competing to hire workers, and we've had relatively high unemployment. So as a result, average incomes are not keeping up with inflation, and we don't have growth, and we don't have career options. Big failure. This should be rising, and my goal is to make it rising strongly for the families of Illinois, and it's going the other way. Here's job creation versus our neighboring states. We stick out. And let me be clear, the Midwest is relatively weak compared to many other parts of the country. So this is a relatively weak comparison set. It ain't like, we're comparing to Texas and to Georgia and Tennessee. This is a relatively weak comparison set, and they're still kicking our tails. And you know what? I'm a competitive guy. I want every new job in the Midwest in Illinois, not Indiana, not Wisconsin. My mom's family were dairy farmers in Wisconsin. I love Wisconsin, but I want to kick their tails, and I want all those jobs coming here. I don't want them going to Iowa. I want them coming here, and we're going to compete. And you can see, it's just, we're flatlining. Now, we can look at all kinds of comparative, this is picking out a few samples. Chief Executive Magazine has us 48th out of the 50 states for attractiveness to business. Thumbtack, small business friendliness, F. That's a grade. Hopefully none of you are getting that. Small business policy, we're 35th for small business.